Hey there, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the Strong Marriage series. If you've been following, well, we're 2 weeks in, so you didn't have to follow too long to get here. But what I'm doing is a 4-week series where every single week we're learning different things that we can do every single day, practical things that you can come to this podcast or the YouTube channel, listen, learn, and then turn around immediately and implement into your relationship, or at least give it some thought about how you can do so. So we're doing that for 4 weeks. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, I want to invite you to join me for my workshop, where we're going to be talking about the 3 mistakes most of us make that are actually hindering us from having and maintaining a strong marriage, defined by you, of course, right? But of course, I have some definitions of how I define strong marriage. We talked about that last week. And one of the main characteristics, I believe, in a strong marriage is always agreeing on how to treat each other, right? So you may not agree on a certain situation or a topic. However, you always agree on how to treat each other, whatever that agreement is between the two of you. That is very clear. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about, working on your marriage with your spouse, not just in your head. And I'm going to say that again, because I want to make sure that you heard me. Working on your marriage with your spouse, right? With the actual other person in the relationship versus just in your head. How many of us, especially after some time, will tell ourselves, oh, I know how they're going to respond, or I don't even, want to waste time, or I don't want to get into a disagreement or an argument. And I want to challenge you there, because many of us, most of us, have had a time like that. And so I want to encourage you, when you're thinking about how can I create a strong marriage, right? That's the question that you're asking yourself in this series. I want you to think about how, if you are not communicating with your spouse because you want to avoid the discomfort, and usually that is a big reason, right? That you may have tried before and it ended in like a disagreement or an argument or a really, tense conversation. And you may be thinking now, well, I don't want to do that again, right? So you're avoiding the discomfort of that disagreement. But I want you to think about this. You're already experiencing discomfort just in your head, right? Thinking about whatever it is that you're wanting and you're not getting, or whatever the disconnect is in your relationship. And so I always want you to think about that. Which discomfort will you choose? One version of discomfort has you looping in thoughts, right? That's where you're, quote unquote, air quotes, working on your marriage just in your head instead of actually with your partner, right? That has you uncomfortable because it's taking up mental bandwidth. It's taken away from your daily life, right? Mentally, and you're just kind of looping. The other version, right, may have you in discomfort. And I use that word specifically. It may, because I think it's important. Give your partner the opportunity to surprise you, right? I think sometimes that can be really fun. So the other version may have you in discomfort, where you're communicating with your spouse. However, that discomfort creates movement and data. I'm going to say that again. Actually moving forward and having the conversation with your spouse, that creates movement and data for you to work with, right? So instead of it being in your head about whatever you think it is or that will happen, you will actually have words coming from the mouth of your spouse, or, no words or whatever the situation is, but you have data. So I really want you to sit with that and think about the times when you have caught yourself. As you're listening to me right now, you're probably thinking about maybe a moment when you were doing that. And I want you to think about, even though it may be uncomfortable to have the conversation, I want you to give yourself, right, trusting yourself that you can handle whatever that may bring. One of my beliefs for a strong marriage is to always agree, right, on how to treat each other, just like I said a couple of minutes ago. So wouldn't you want your spouse to give you the benefit of having a conversation? I think that's always really important. Like sometimes I think about that, like if I'm thinking about sharing something with my husband, and if I'm tempted not to for whatever reason, I'll ask myself, this is something that I would want him to talk to me about. So it's kind of like a filter that I run myself through, just kind of like as a check-in, and reminding myself that the conversation may go great, or it may go, it's a 50-50. It may go great, or it may turn into something that you didn't expect, or they responded in a way that you didn't expect. But either way, understanding and knowing and trusting that you can handle it, you have your back, you can handle a tense conversation, right? Because at the end of it, you really are getting that much closer to your spouse because you're learning more about them, no matter how long you have been together. So one thing that I was thinking about sharing with you today is a portion of our vows, our wedding vows. And I thought this was interesting because many of us don't go back and revisit what we vowed to that other person. And so I just want to read this, and this is just a portion of it. I, Christal, take you, Jim, to be my husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. According to God's holy law, in the presence of God, I make this vow. If you can go back and find your wedding vows, sometimes that can be a really powerful way to just recommit to how you want to go all in on showing up in your relationship, right? Because again, if you go all in, right, and put in the work, because marriage is work, putting in the work will allow you the opportunity to grow with your spouse in a way that you maybe have never, experienced before, or it may give you more data, more information about some maybe decisions that you have to make. But at the end of the day, the growth that comes from it, either way, is extremely valuable. Okay. So don't ever stop being curious with one another and have fun. I wanted to share this brief little tip. One way to always keep the relationship fresh and growing is to, like I said, stay curious with one another. And what my husband and I do is we use, I don't even know what they're called. I mean, they're cards with questions on them, but they probably do have a name. You can buy them, I'm sure, at Walmart, Target, Amazon. But it's basically this box of cards, and we would ask ourselves a question every night. And it's like, if you can go back to any year in time, what would it be? What was a period in time where you felt embarrassed, or you felt really cool or privileged, or whatever it is? And it was really nice just kind of getting to know different things about each other that we maybe wouldn't naturally just ask. And so find ways to stay curious and to have fun. One other thing that my husband and I do, we have healthy banter. We love to tease each other, and he loves hiding things from me. So I'll make a cup of tea, and next thing you know, the tea will not be where I left it. And he just gets such a giggle out of seeing me look for it. And I'm the fool because I know he loves to hide it. And every time I forget to, leave it alone, and I know he's going to hide it somewhere. So do little things to keep it fresh, to keep it fun, because there will be times, just because we're humans and we're living in the world and we have human brains, where it won't always be fun. So add in that fun when you can, okay? Because it really is, marriage is 50-50. 50% positive sometimes, 50% negative sometimes. That's just the way it works. All right, everyone, stay with me. This is so much fun. And feel free to, connect with me, leave a comment below, or if you're interested in being on my email list, I send out a bi-monthly newsletter, and that's a great way to really stay connected with me. So you can just go to my website, which is christalallen.com, and there's a connected tab, and you just enter your name and email, and you'll get my my little note that I send out to my subscribers twice a month. All right, everyone, have a beautiful day, and really think about what we talked about today as we are learning how to create a strong marriage. Have a great day. Bye.